So welcome, I'm Mary Anglade, founder of Builder Lead Marketing, and welcome to Social Media That Sells. I want to congratulate you for taking the time to learn digital marketing and new techniques that are going to drive your business forward. I can tell you that you are in the minority, so congratulations for that. What our agenda will be, I'm going to introduce myself. We're going to talk a little bit about the customer online journey today and the home buying process, why social media, some highlights and pros and cons for each of the different platforms, real results from builders that are out there using these various platforms, and then we'll wrap it up. This webinar is being recorded, so we will be sending that out in a few days. It will also be on YouTube, which you can access it for free. Please email me any questions you have. This is my direct email. I would be happy to get back to you. And we are holding monthly webinars reviewing the accelerated growth model. So please connect with us so you stay up to date. I'll give you some easy ways to do that in a few slides. And please, if you know others in the industry, we really love sharing this information to move the industry forward. So please do share it. Our next webinar, we are tackling AI for builders and modular manufacturers. You can sign up by scanning that QR code to the right of the screen. It's going to be on August 20th at 2 p.m. So we are going to be digging into, what is AI? How can you use it? There's some really innovative ways you can use it. And we're super excited to have this session for you. So who am I and why should you listen to me? As I said, my name is Mary Anglade. I have over 25 years of experience. I've owned my own digital marketing agency since 2012 and worked with dozens of businesses and even nonprofits across industries. A few years ago, we ended up with a builder client, and that kind of just snowballed from there. And now we have many builder and modular manufacturers as our clients. We really love this industry, my team as well as I do. We think there's a ton of opportunity to take advantage of these newer marketing techniques. We are members of the Modular Home Builders Association. I may have met you in November. We exhibited. I'm actually going to be a featured speaker this coming October. And we are members of the Home Builders Association, the Fairfield County, Connecticut division of that. And I am in the Professional Women in Building. We just really enjoy, as I said, working with home builders. I think it's a very visual medium. It lends itself really well to social media, to this type of marketing. My early career was in finance. I actually was a lender in New York City in the Garment Center. So I have a very data-driven approach to marketing, and my entire team does, and I think it really sets us apart. We're very transparent with the results. You can measure pretty much everything in digital marketing. And so we sit down monthly with our clients and we go over the various programs that we are working on with them or for them, and we will share those results. Builder Lead Marketing has a few different programs. So just very briefly, we have our Foundations program that's for smaller builders. All of these usually start off with your website, not necessarily building a new one, but usually there's a few tweaks and improvements that need to be made. And then it's about driving traffic. Having a website is not enough. You need to actually get people to it. And there are millions and millions of websites out there. So unless you are actively using SEO, pay-per-click, social media to get people to the website, it's very unlikely you're getting really any traffic. Acceleration is our program, also includes maybe some improvements to the website, but several ways to drive traffic, SEO, pay-per-click, Facebook. And then Enterprise is more of a custom program tends to be larger companies, but we will do email marketing. We'll even do some print, billboards, trade shows. There's a number of different, projects that we may tackle in an enterprise program. You can also work with us on, if you just need SEO, you just need pay-per-click, you just need social media, we do have some individual programs like that. If before we embark on this webinar, which will be about 45, 50 minutes, you're just like, you know what, I think I'd really just like some help. You can scan that QR code. It'll bring you to a calendar and you can book some time with either me or one of my team. And we'd be happy to go through what you're doing online and where there are opportunities to grow. And this is a no obligation complimentary consultation. So if you scan this QR code, that'll bring you to a link tree. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I love to network with you. We also have a free digital book called The Builder's Blueprint, the ultimate guide to online marketing for home builders and modular manufacturers. And you can also follow us on social media. That's where we put out a lot of great content, and we always promote these types of webinars and other events that we might be doing, all of which are complimentary. So I mentioned the accelerated growth model. We do these webinars every month, and we are kind of just tackling each of these. We have had webinars on pay-per-click, on SEO, on database or email, on website, how you set up your website for conversion. And now we are tackling social media. We already did a deep dive on Facebook a couple of months ago. I will share that link for you. But this is really a comprehensive approach to marketing. All of these programs really just work very well together. And we want to get the word out on, what you should be doing, what you should be avoiding, what are the best practices, and how can you really leverage these, different platforms and different channels to grow your business. And you can visit our YouTube channel and access all of these webinars. We also have some of them are cut into short pieces. So maybe you just want to know how to set up Facebook ads. There's a video for that. We also have case studies out there so you can see what our clients have to say. We also just have some other different, tips and hints that you may find very useful. So let's talk about the target and buyer behavior today. I always say it would not be a marketing discussion if we did not take a moment and think about who is our target. For most Americans, buying a home is the largest financial and probably emotional decision they'll make in their entire lives. You may be working with new homeowners, looking for affordable solutions, or maybe your clients are wealthy, retirees. You can have a fine business with both of those targets, but you have to think those are very different people. They likely drive different cars, vacation in different places. They have different needs, even within a home. If you have a growing family, maybe you're looking for a lot of yard space so you can put up a big playground. If you're a wealthy retiree, maybe you don't want that anymore, right? So I want you to just take a moment, and these webinars are meant to be very interactive. I'm going to ask you questions throughout, but take a moment to really think about who your target is. And if you have more than one target, that's fine too, but you should have a different persona for each of them. And what we like to do is we like to give the personas a name, like really think about this person, because then you can really think about how you're going to message them, the type of content you're going to put on your website, what channels you're going to use. It all really falls out from the target. So I'd like to just take a moment to think through, are your potential targets online? Are they using social media? So here's just a few stats. Basically from the National Association of Realtors, all home buyers use the internet. I'll show you a graph in a couple of slides. It's really across every age group, even with, frankly, very senior citizens. The most valuable content are the photos. We always say you really should invest in some good photography. Your homes are just so beautiful. You really want to make sure you're capturing them in the best light. And this stat kind of says, yeah, that's really important. If one of your targets might be realtors, 87% of them use Facebook. They also use Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. So your potential clients are online. They're using social media. And I'll share some more crazy stats of just how many people are using social media across the United States and, some data around that. This is a graph just showing all age groups, including people over the age of 75, use the internet to search for homes. So they might not have been searching for a home builder, but I think a lot of people start off maybe searching existing inventory. Depending on what part of the country you're in, it can be very tight. And then they start thinking, well, maybe we should just build exactly what we want. So Americans on average are spending 7 hours a day online. So I want to caution you if you are a builder, and I think even in those in related industries, which I believe I have online today as well, your job may not have you in front of a computer all day. But your clients, especially if you're dealing with business people, lawyers, professionals, they are online, right? Jobs are really, they're doing research, they're using email, they're working on presentations. It's all day. I know this is true for me. So I do caution you to think through, even if that's not your day, it is your potential clients, and they are going to find you online. How about social media? This is 2 hours, 24 minutes. So they're also using social media, and the biggest platforms are Facebook, and people are on over almost 7 social networks each month. So they're on social media. So I think I want to bring this up because I think if you've ever been like, well, maybe my clients aren't online, or who uses social media? Is it the kids? It's not the kids anymore. It's everybody. Social as a whole has billions of users. So, Facebook has 3 billion, 62 0.3% of the world's population and 73% of the US population. So, we're using social media, right? You want to go where the people are. You want to make sure that you have a presence where everybody is already congregating. By the way, if you see these QR codes I failed to mention, that will bring you to the calendar if at any time during the presentation you're like, I'd rather just book some time. So I should have mentioned that earlier. Okay, so let's just take a persona. And again, I'd like you to think through who your persona is. But this is Tom and Tammy. They have 2 children. They've outgrown their home. They're looking for a new home with, in a town that has great schools. They start kind of, they call Roberta the real estate agent. There's not a lot out there, especially not where they want to live. Tammy, she starts perusing online. She's sharing pictures of her kids on Facebook. She notices a friend of hers built a house. She sees these beautiful pictures. She asks who is the builder. Oh, we had the best experience. Oh, it's a modular home. Oh, I don't even know what's that. She starts, Googling, gathering information. Okay, so this is pretty typical, and I think you could sub in another product, like maybe you're looking to buy a new car. What do you do? In today's day and age, we start online, we research, we look to what our friends are doing, we read reviews from strangers, and we start to form an opinion. Okay, so very, very important to think about this behavior. Because how do you sell with social? That's kind of the headline of this webinar. And I think there is a lot of skepticism, like, well, I'm selling houses. How am I going to sell something on Facebook? That's where, my wife likes to post pictures of the grandkids or whatever, And of course, people are doing that, but they're doing a lot more than that on all of these platforms. This is kind of your typical sales funnel. I think most people have probably seen it before, but you think of yourself, how do you become aware of something? So maybe you see an ad, maybe a friend mentions it to you, maybe you read about it in an article, right? I like to say, if I've never heard of you, you can't build me a house. If I don't know what modular is, I'm not going to choose a modular home. If, I've never heard of your roofing company, I'm not going to choose you. I mean, we could sub in the blank, right? And awareness becomes interest, right? So just like Tammy in that previous slide, she starts to say, oh, like I wasn't really thinking of building a house, but my friend Sarah built a house, and gosh, it looks like they the whole process didn't take more than 6 months, and they've got this gorgeous house. It's exactly the kind of house I want. So, you start becoming interested, really wanting something. And then now you're really looking at your budget. How much can I afford? Now you're online. Maybe you are looking at some builder websites. Maybe there's a mortgage calculator. You start, really figuring that out. And then perhaps you pick up the phone. Maybe towards the end, you're seeing, oh, they're offering 10,000 off and upgrades. So you're going from awareness to consideration to decision making, and then hopefully you become a brand evangelist, and you're going to bring that builder, that seller, more customers. So the question that we get a lot is, what platforms should I be on? So we wanted to just tackle that up front. Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla. We definitely recommend that our builder clients be on Facebook. It's the oldest, which we'll get into a few stats on Facebook. It's owned by Meta, and Meta also owns Instagram. So it's fairly common where you'd have both Facebook and Instagram. They have different, which we'll get into. They're a little bit different, but those are the two that we think make the most sense because, especially if you're a builder, homes are very visual. It's great. The average Facebook person has 338 friends. If you have a client and you can get them to share their experience with you and maybe some pictures of their gorgeous home, that's like an automatic referral happening. So LinkedIn is for businesses. I think you're probably all aware. Even if you're not necessarily going to do a lot of business on LinkedIn, because you're more consumer facing, we still recommend a business page. And realtors and investors, and other companies, of course, are out on LinkedIn. It's also very convenient to post jobs. You can post all kinds of content. They all sort of work the same in that way. And lastly, the new kid on the block is TikTok, which we'll get into. We do think TikTok makes sense if you have budget. So that's a little, letting one of the conclusions out of the bag kind of early on. But these are sort of the ones, and we're going to get into these in greater detail. So before we do, though, there's some stuff about social media that's true regardless of what platform you are on. And one of those truths is social media is very public. Everyone can see how many followers you have. They can see if you haven't posted since 2024 or 2018 or whenever the last time you did it. They can see if your posts are doing well. And it's very different than say, oh, I sent out this direct mail postcard and nobody called me. So it's kind of a flop. Nobody knows. You're the only one who knows. Uh, so Facebook, it is like that. And it's important because it is public. And all of this online stuff is very public. You want to make sure your image matches the kind of, you know, work that you do. I think at least all of our clients take great pride in the beautiful homes they build and their processes and the sustainability and the innovation and the energy efficiency. So you want to make sure you're conveying that. Like if you haven't posted in 6 years, somebody might think you went out of business. I mean, I know I would. And people are very sophisticated, and especially you're dealing with really all ends of the market. Everybody's on social media right now, but especially if you're dealing with higher income people that they're used to seeing things a certain way. You want to make sure you look sophisticated. Somebody may think, gosh, they might forget a pipe or something in my new house. Like you want to build up that trust, right? You want to make sure you are being reflected properly. So you don't want to be like this little kid, like, oh my God, I don't want to look at my social, see how bad it looks. Social media is free, and we like to say sort of. We'll get into that in a little bit, but you can set up a page on any of these platforms for free. It's enormous. We like to say, go where the people are. You're never going to get 3 billion people to your website. Just go to Facebook. People are there. It's very visual. We would say I haven't really mentioned X just because we don't think that's a good place for builders and modular manufacturers or really most businesses. It's become more of a political type of platform. And since most people have limited time and resources, we try to recommend, which ones we really think you should be on. Social media is very measurable. There's 24/7 granular reporting. You always know how things are going. As I mentioned, it can be a great source of referrals and it can be very, very targeted. They have collected so much data. That is why these businesses are as big as they are. And people willingly give the data. I think we all kind of do it, right? And the algorithms, what else that makes it very powerful is, let's say you're trying to reach suburban, men and women in a certain area, and they see your content and somebody likes it. Well, the algorithm is going to show it to somebody that's similar to that person. So it's like a natural, just like power in that you're getting out in front of the same kind of people, and usually they're the right kind of people, right? Because they already showed interest. Social media takes time. It takes time to build a following. And so that's an opportunity cost. If you're not on social media, the longer you wait, the longer it's going to take to really make it meaningful. Toll Brothers, Clayton Homes, those are very big companies. They have hundreds of thousands of followers, as you can see. Clayton has over 434,000 on Facebook. They all started with one, right? Somebody set up a page. That person was the first follower. And then it's what do you do after that to get such a big following? It's pay to play. There's no more, if you don't put any money behind it, your posts they're going to have some reach. It's still worth doing, but you really want to put some money behind it to reach the people you want. And then housing has some restrictions, which we'll get into. You have to be careful, make sure you understand the different platforms. So what works on social media? This is just kind of some ideas, but you want to keep 20% or even less talking about yourself and your promotions, and the rest should be informative. You should be sharing other people's content. You should be engaging, asking people, what do they think of this? You can do some contests. You want to be social. Okay, so that's kind of the point of this slide. You don't want to talk about yourself all the time. You don't want to be like that person at a party that just talks about themselves. Social media, you want to be social. So that's just a really important thing to keep in mind. And it frankly doesn't matter which platform you're on. That's probably always true. Just some general truths, what works for builders. Homes are very visual. We wouldn't have all these TV shows on HGTV if people didn't love looking at beautiful homes. So exterior, interior, drone footage, before and afters do extremely well. Storytelling, if you can get your clients to share their story, they were a growing family, they found their dream house. I mean, that way other people can see themselves in those people. And it's just fun, right? We all love those wonderful, heartwarming stories. And again, it's a great referral generator. And we recommend, even if you, let's say, finish a house, send the photos to your client and ask them and say, hey, would you mind putting this out on social media? If you're on social media, tag us. Because again, all their friends will see these pictures. And the way these communities are, it tends to be, if you're on something like Facebook, a good portion of your friends are probably in your local area, right? Because you've met them through various channels. If you are a modular builder or manufacturer, education's so important. So we always say that should be part of your social media content as well. Hashtag. So what's a hashtag? All a hashtag is, it's like a sign that lets people know, oh, we're talking about this. So hashtag modular home. If I go into Instagram, then I'm going to get all the posts, all the content that's around hashtag modular home. We usually recommend you place them at the end of the post because sometimes they'd be a little bit hard to read. You can do ones that are local. If you're in, let's say, Pittsburgh, you're in a certain city, Westchester real estate, whatever it may be, and then you'll get people searching on those terms. So they are really important on like Instagram, TikTok, but you can still use them on something like Facebook. LinkedIn is also, we recommend you use hashtags there. Yeah, and the other thing is too, you don't just need to, again, talk about yourself. You can talk about the communities that you build in or you are serving. This is a local real estate agent. These are some of the towns where she actually sells houses, and they are all on the safest cities list. So that's a great selling point, and that would be a great selling point for any builders that are in these areas, right? So you want to just sell the dream, make somebody want to love the community, right? Because that's, you're also buying a location when you are buying a home. So some other ideas: featured homes, educational content. If you have a blog, if you have video, you can share that. Staff photos. It's a great idea to personalize your company, really show maybe behind the scenes, show your company picnic, show the holiday party, you know, curated content about home design, real estate, any holidays that are coming up. We always say, wish somebody a happy 4th of July. It doesn't always have to be even serious content. It can just be goodwill. And so people really love that. Memes and humor. So just a note on any images or anything, cartoons or anything, just make sure that you buy the photos, that you read the licensing agreements. You really want to make sure that you are following the rules, because there's obviously copyright rules around all of that. Don't pull stuff off the internet without purchasing it. So also, just getting back to that sales funnel, we wanted to share, some examples of what would work in the awareness stage. Now, these aren't mutually exclusive necessarily, but at the awareness stage, you might just be trying to figure out, gosh, what's the difference between like a stick-built house and modular? What are the advantages of either? Consideration. Now I'm looking client testimonials. Should I consider this builder over this one? And then decision making. That's where maybe you put some offers out there. Hey, $10,000 in upgrades available if you book by the end of the month. Make somebody want to take some action. All right, so let's get into the specific platforms. Now, we did a very deep dive hour on Facebook, so I am going to share with you a way to access that. This is going to be a little more high level, but there is tons of detail in that particular webinar. All right, so Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla. It's old. It was started 20 years ago, or over 20 years. And as I mentioned, over 3 billion users. 81% of the US is on Facebook. And the average user has over 338 friends and spends almost 4 hours a week, right? So the other numbers I had quoted you were averages across. So now we're just talking about Facebook. So just a very big platform, and people spend hours and hours of time on it. Slightly more women than men. It's huge, 164.5 billion in revenue in 2024, and just crazy amounts of photos and comments any given day, any given moment. Millions of people are using this platform. And we did a very deep dive on Facebook. Please scan this. It'll take you directly to it. And then there's also a lot of short video cuts that you can look at if you're just interested in one thing and you don't want to see the entire webinar. Here's back to Instagram. This is a great place to showcase your work. And, a lot of everybody seems to be on Instagram these days. These are some very large builders. They have hundreds of thousands of followers. Again, they all started with one. Are your competitors on Instagram? So that's a question you should be asking. Are my competitors there? So take a moment to go check. Take a look at what's resonating on their pages and who's commenting, and do they have any collaborations? You definitely want to check out what the competition is doing. How do you get started? You set up a professional account. Your profile pic is usually your logo. We've put the number of pixels here. You can only have one link on Instagram, so you'll see this term link in bio. So usually what that means is it's either going to take you to somebody's website. We usually set up a link tree for our clients, so that can link to more than one thing, similar to what I had shared with you earlier in the presentation. You want to post at least once a week. Great photography video is really important, and hashtags are really important with Instagram as well. Instagram ads are really easy to set up. You can boost a post. So this is from our Builder Lead Marketing Instagram page. I didn't necessarily want to advertise this, but I'm just using it as an example. So you'll see right here, it says you can boost the post. So you just click on that, and then it'll take you to like a widget that will help you set up. One thing you want to remember is that Meta has a lot of policies around anti-discrimination for housing. And so you're going to want to check off the box that says housing, which I will show you what that looks like right here. It says special requirements. And you won't be able to limit your ad gender. So you have to target both men and women as well as all age groups, which I know doesn't always work for builders because most 18-year-olds aren't ready to build a brand new house. But that said, that's just the way it is. Also, when you're targeting geographically, it's a 15-mile radius. So you may be hitting places that you didn't necessarily want to hit. All in all, though, these are extremely efficient ads, especially when you compare them to, say, like print magazines and things like that. And yeah, just be careful, understand the Meta policies. It is a huge company, and it's very hard sometimes to get somebody on the phone if you do have any issues. So we recommend once a month you read through their policies, make sure you're following everything. I kind of already covered this. So yeah, so you can't limit age and gender. Also, they used to allow you to do something called a lookalike audience and do things like upload your email list. You're no longer allowed to do that. So that again has to do with their take on discrimination and the fair housing, laws. All right, so let's take a moment to talk about LinkedIn. Also very big, 234 million users in the US. It's a place for business. I'm guessing most of my viewers today are on LinkedIn. We love to use it for networking. We have a business page there, and we also post our webinars, and you'll see other companies doing the same. This is a place for business. So we recommend you have a company page. It's useful for posting jobs, but you can also do some advertising, which we'll get into. Yeah, hashtags are important. It trends a little bit young, I think, because young professionals are on there, but so aren't older people as well. So yeah, and if you are at all interested in investors, realtors, real estate professionals, you want to be on LinkedIn. You want to post your jobs, you want to post any updates, you could post information about the housing market, any awards you may have won. I think it's very just common sense to at least have some sort of presence on LinkedIn. So it's free like other platforms. You set up a personal profile and then you set up your business. So here's an example of a builder one. And I think it's just very important. You want to be complete. So make sure you fill everything out, put your services. And again, you never know where your next customer is going to find you. And because they are online, they may be looking you up. So you want to keep all of this recent, invest in some good photography if you don't already have it. Get yourself a picture that you can put up, a headshot. All of this conveys a professional image. And again, you're asking somebody to invest a lot if you're going to build a home for them. Advertising kind of works the same. This is a sample. You can select your objective. They have it actually broken out by awareness, consideration, conversion, or we call it decision making. You can target geographically, you can target company names, you can target titles. So this can be very useful. One of our clients recently had a B2B event and they advertised here and they had some very nice reach and were reaching other people in the real estate world. So it made a lot of sense. You can also boost content. This is like an AI assisted, this isn't even an image of ours, but I just did this as a sample to show you. And again, there's some really great targeting that you can do. All right, so our last platform is TikTok, new kid on the block. It's also quite big, 136 million users, 1.5 billion worldwide. It's the most downloaded app in 2024. It definitely trends younger. If you have children or you're on the younger side watching this, then you're probably on TikTok or you're probably seeing your family members on TikTok. But guess what? Other builders are on TikTok. Now, Clayton is huge. I recognize that. But again, all these things are free and it's not hard to get your phone and take some quick videos. They have some really engaging content. They are, I think, promoting more affordable types of homes. So they probably are getting some younger people, maybe newlyweds, that kind of thing. Champion Homes, another big one, also on TikTok. 100 over 100,000 followers, almost 105,000, over like 586,000 likes. So they're definitely getting the word out, and you can kind of see their the types of content they're doing, which we'll get into in a minute. This is a smaller builder. I didn't actually know who this was, but I looked for Modular and they came up and they have some really great videos and you can see thousands of people have watched them. So again, you never know when that next customer may be coming from. And the types of content that are working. So really loved these FAQs. They have this young man just kind of answering people's questions. They are doing home tours. They're doing real people, real stories. This couple sharing their story. So all of this just works so great for this like short form video. This one you can take a look at. This has had over 500,000 views. I was hoping to show it to you, but it ends up stopping the recording. So I didn't want to do that. But you can find this if you go on TikTok, take a look. All of it's set to music, very engaging. It's frankly quite addictive. And you can see why, there has been controversy about TikTok. I think most people are aware. They keep saying they're going to shut it down. And, so there is some concern there. And I think it's also because it's, very engaging, and especially younger people are they're watching hours and hours of it, which is concerning. So should you be on TikTok? If you have the budget and the time, yes. I think TikTok's just going to continue to grow. It's very visual, so it works great with homes. If you could do some home tours, it's very easy. You can create a video, easily set it to music. You could do a tour of your factory. You could do staff interviews. It's just a very engaging platform. And as you can see for the builders that are on there, they are racking up thousands and thousands of views and followers and likes. So absolutely. So a few other tips before we wrap up. I always want to ask people in these webinars to look at your competition. Go out today and see if they are on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. Really take a look. What are they doing? What are the opportunities? And you'll probably get some ideas. If you are out on these social platforms, take a look. Are your posts up to date? Do you have a good mix of content that we've talked about? There's always room for improvement. So I like for everybody to really just kind of do your own self-critique after you've now watched this webinar. Be social. Personal messages work great. Personalize your brand. Everyone loves seeing faces. They don't want to just see static posts. Make sure and that should be on your website as well. Make sure you got pictures of yourself. I know not everyone wants to have pictures of themselves. I'm the same way, but the reality is, it gives somebody a level of trust. And when you share your personality and you share kind of who is behind the business. Short form video also really dominates. It's absolutely essential. Something like Instagram. I mean, this is how you're going to gain followers. You get some good reels, boost those reels, and have them go to your profile page, and people will like the page. So we've seen this over and over again. Make sure you're using text overlays. Not everybody watches with the sound platforms, social media, they're all search engines. So you want to optimize your posts so that people can find them. Remember those hashtags. If you can, upload directly to the platform versus sharing something from, let's say, YouTube to LinkedIn. LinkedIn, all these platforms, they want you to kind of stay on the platform, and the algorithm will reward you if you do that. Don't just post stuff. Make sure you're out there liking, commenting, interacting with others. Feature real people, real customers. And if you have any micro influencers in your region, we've seen this be very successful. So let's say maybe you're a builder and you're working with an organizer who's helping a family move. If you can do a collab together, then both your feeds will see your content. This can be just a great way to leverage other people's networks. So how do you measure success? As I mentioned, all of these platforms have analytics built in. This is the back end of Meta for our business. And at any given moment, you can see, there's thousands of people typically that have at least had an impression of your ad or of your posts. You can see how many followers you're growing, all of that. It's very granular. You can get it by post. To the point where sometimes it's almost overwhelming. So you do want to take a look at all that. We actually use a software that helps us pull it all together, but there's some very good information just in the free versions that are built right into these platforms. This is just a sample Facebook Insights. You can see how your ads are doing. The average cross industries is 77 per click. So we like to see it more in the 25-cent range. So this ad for our clients doing very well. Facebook is a very efficient form of advertising. You're really going to reach a lot of people. You're going to reach thousands of people. Like this ad, almost 49,000 views. 1,600 people clicked on it. If you thought, if I had to do that with a print ad, I mean, how many people would really see the ad and interact with it? So this is one of the reasons why these companies are so big. This form of advertising just works. And then I always mention this in our webinars, but make sure you have Google Analytics on your website. It's free. Any agency or developer should be able to add it for you if you don't know how to do it. You just go to google.com/analytics to set up a free account. And then you can measure the traffic. So this is just a screenshot where you're seeing paid social media brought this company 11 leads. So somebody either called or filled out one of their forms. And you can just see where all your traffic is coming from, not just social media, but from everywhere else as well. So what would this mean to you if you could have more lead sales and profits from a really robust social media campaign? So I think that's really the question. If you could build more houses, what would that do for you financially? What would that do for your business? You really want to bring it back to your why. We recognize people don't want to do marketing for marketing's sake. They're trying to grow their business. They're trying to do something. So what would it allow you to do? And if you'd like some help after you're like, gosh, this sounds great, but I don't really have time for this, we would be happy to have a complimentary strategy session with you. We'll take a look at your website. We'll look at how well you're ranking compared to your competition and how you're doing in the search engines. Are you showing up? We'll look at your social media, and we'll take a look at your website. And you can either call us or you can scan this QR code and go directly to a calendar link. This is a no obligation call. We're happy to do this. We're really happy to share where you can improve and where there's opportunities. And with that, I'd like to just thank everyone. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm not sure why that happened, but thank you for sticking with this webinar. Please follow us on social media. We are on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Builder Lead Marketing. I'd like to thank the Modular Home Builders Association for helping spread the word. And again, please connect with us directly. Just really thankful that you're able to make the session. Please join us next month for AI and have a great rest of your day. Thanks.